All right. How's everybody doing? Sorry, running a little later than usual. Well, not later than usual, but uh, I like to start streaming typically around 10 or 11. But today, NVIDIA had the Gamescom presentation, and I really wanted to uh, see the presentation because I've been saving up for a new graphic card for about probably almost not 2 years, but uh, basically since the last generation was announced. I bought the GTX 1070 um, when they announced it, the Founders Edition one, and it's done fine for me. But I've definitely been noticing in some of the games I play that I could use an upgrade. And I was gonna get a 1080 Ti, but we all know how that goes with the mining craze that was happening for a while there. They were outrageously overpriced. But yeah, they announced their new cards, and we'll talk about that while we stream. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Jason. Welcome to my stream, where I share my adventures creating and learning 3D art or digital art, as well as the occasional game stream. And in the future, I plan on streaming and sharing some simple reviews on some of the little products I bought to help me along my learning and creating journey for digital art. So stay tuned for those. I got a couple things coming up here. But today I'm going to be modeling or blocking out a wooden pillar. Well, it's going to be wood, metal, and stone. Um, but if you've been following along, or if you haven't been following along, I have been working on some stylized props for a diorama I'm building. It's kind of leaning towards a similar style to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm type of vibe. So it's very a little bit cartoony, chunky, exaggerated, stylized diorama, if you will. So without further ado, let's block this guy out, shall we? It's gonna be a pretty simple prop. Turn my snapping on. There. Yeah, I've been I don't know if any of you tuned in for my game stream, but I streamed a little bit of World of Warcraft the other day. That was fun. Um, but have been streaming it with the intention of finding like props and miscellaneous things in the game that interest me. Pretty good. This will be my base. Let me see that real quick. I'd like to bring that down a bit. Here we go. That looks all right. This part down here is going to be stone, and this is going to be wood. But I've been running around in some of the zones, questing and stuff in the game, and I just kind of take screenshots of some of the stuff that I like. This way I can do things to challenge myself to see if I can make them just based off of the screenshots. Let's see. I want to take this whole thing and duplicate that. There. Feel that on there. Ooh. Right about there. Oh no. And I'm gonna do this in separate pieces so that I can like rotate them as I set them through my diorama so they don't all look exactly the same. At least that's my idea I have. We'll see whether it actually works or not. I'm gonna put a couple of I don't know why it does that. I hate that about. See how, like right here, it just doesn't want to snap to the grid? And I have the absolute grid option selected. But for some reason, Blender just doesn't like to do that. Like even here, it's clearly not on the grid. If any of you know why it does that, I'd love to like I'd love for you to mention what it is. It's super annoying to have to zoom in there every time just to get it to go exactly where I want. Actually, you know what? I want to that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to select this whole thing. I'm going to just insert another cube there. That looks good. And I'm going to going on. You know, sometimes my keyboard just hey, how you doing today? What should I change it to? I have it set to the default Blender units. The units. Yeah, they're metric. Yeah, I've tried changing it. The grid isn't the problem. Whoops. It's the snapping. Like the grid works fine. It's just the snapping. Sometimes it like snaps to the wrong spot, but it's just, you know, it's just something you got to work around every now and then. Okay, so let's see, where was I? Let me get this guy. I duplicate it. I think I'll go about there. I'm just making a pillar to put in my diorama that I'm working on. Snapping off. That should be good. Control-N. There we go. That looks all right, I think. You know what? That's a little too wide. Let me try that again. Scale these on X. Oops. I want to go back to medium point. And snapping back on. I'm just trying to find a better location. Wait a second. And snapping back off. I'm going to drop back down to individual origins. Oh. There we go. That's a little more what I'm looking for. I think I want to make it a little higher. Let's go to wire mode. Substance Painter, and specifically when I export different material. What do you mean? Do you have a trouble exporting from Substance Painter? Bring these up a little. There we go, that looks better. You have a you have a problem or difficulty exporting your textures out of Substance Painter? If you're a Blender user, I do have a video on my YouTube channel, how to where I talk about the export settings for cycles out of Substance Painter. Yeah, the what happens when you like one of the ways to bake your map in Substance Painter is, like for example, if you were doing this, you would take each part, like let's say these are all going to be metal, and you would apply a material on there, right? And like you would put like black and call it metal. And then on these are wood, so you'd put another material on there and call them wood. But you don't want to do that for Substance Painter, because it gives you a whole bunch of texture maps, and you don't want multiple texture maps. So basically what you want to do is, like what I do is, let's say I'm going to import this and I have my high poly with the information from Zbrush. But if I want to import this, what I would do is I would duplicate the whole thing. And then I would put it on another layer. And this is after you have unwrapped it. And then what you have to do is you have to separate the parts. Okay. So basically what you do is you separate the parts you need. So you would separate these. And then maybe separate this one. So now I have multiple objects. And snapping off. So I have these are the metal. Let me just put a texture on there for you so you can kind of see what I mean. We'll call this metal. So that would be your metal, right? And this would be your wood. And this one would be your stone. So instead of exporting them separately, what you want to do is you want to select all of them. So you box select, then you have all of them. And then you go to File, Export, FBX, and make sure you hit Selected Objects. Otherwise, it'll export your whole scene, and you don't want to do that. But if you export it that way, even though they're separate objects, it'll bake it as one texture map. I do have on my channel, let me check it out real quick. I do have a couple of videos where I show that. Let's see. If you want to check out let's see. Yeah, this one, it's called, I'll put a link in the description. Or, whoops. Yeah, but here, I'll just drag it over here. Right here, the tips and tricks. I talk about how to export your object for Marmoset tool bag, but it's the same thing for Substance Painter. In most of my playlists, I do that at one point. I take the object out of Blender, and then I I do my baking in Marmoset, but it's the same thing in Substance Painter. And eventually I'll do that with this, just not yet. So probably by Friday, I'll take this into Marmoset. And you know what? I'll just do it in Substance Painter on Friday, if you want to check that out. But let's hop back to the one we're working on for now. I don't have a lot of time today because I have to go to work soon. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the matte cap back on. Matte cap, there we go. Like that one. All right, let's see, where was I? Okay, so we got, I'm pretty happy with that. I just want to do a couple of things to make this stand out. I think I'll select yeah, so yeah, check out some of my other videos. I do kind of list them what they are, but I will, excuse me, I will on Friday I'll be ready to texture this, and I'll do a step-by-step how to take it out of Blender and bring it into Substance Painter for one texture map. But not till Friday, because I still got to do the sculpting in Zbrush, and then get it ready for export. But I'll cover all that as I go along. So I'm just beveling the edges just to catch a little more of the information and give it a little better of a look. Going a little more aggressive on the wood. Actually, you know what? I want to inset all of these. I just want to give this a little bit of an indentation. Actually, there we go. Just so there's a little more to it. Go to wireframe. Oh, no problem, man. It actually helps me learn when I talk about or show things. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because I remember when I first started using Substance Painter, I would bring my textures in the Blender and I would have like all kinds of different texture maps and I didn't know where to put them all, and it was super confusing. So I totally can relate to what you're talking about. See, that looks pretty decent, I think. Let me smooth that. You know what? I want to bevel the edges on this thing though. Oops. At least I think I want to bevel all of these. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. That's pretty good. And I think I'll go through and do a quick, I'll mark the seams for everything. See, so this is going to be the bottom. I still don't know how to unwrap very well, but I think this is one of the better ways of doing it. Actually, let me do this. Mark the edges. And I'll just mark. Should be good for that one. Do the same thing with this one. Mark the seams. And I'll pick one of these. This one and this one. Just kind of hide everything, and this is working out for me because these end parts are going to be like where the end of the wood is. So it makes sense, at least I think it does, to put the seam there. Oops. And let's see, let's do these. These will probably be pretty easy. Yeah, I'll just do the same technique based on which way it's facing. And I'll just mark. I think that'll be all right, yeah. Oops. And then last but not least, we got this guy. This one might be a little harder. Let's see. Definitely want to take that off. I think I'll try that. I think might be better if I do it here. Same thing. I try to make everything match when I UV. That way it's easy to tell what the islands are, or easier. Let's see, that'll be probably make this bottom piece its own piece. And we'll see. Let's see how that works. Average. I'm just doing this to get a quick idea of what I'm dealing with, and to just see if the UV layout worked. And I think that'll work. That's pretty good. And I'll pack it later. I don't like to I don't like to do that when I stream because I don't think anybody wants to watch me pack UVs. It's super boring. But yeah, I think that's good for the block out. I am a little short on time because I was watching the NVIDIA Gamescom presentation. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they announced their new video cards. Let's say, for example, I need to paint the texture pack when I back from substance. Not totally sure what you're asking me. Let's see. When you say back from substance, I assume you mean into substance. Oh gosh, it's hard to figure out what you're asking me. But if you'll bear with me, on Wednesday I'll do the sculpting in Zbrush, and then on Friday I'll get the model ready for baking, and we'll go over it step by step, and hopefully that'll answer your question on Friday. But I am running out of time, so I have to kind of get going here. But I'll definitely try to answer that question for you on Friday, because that's when I'll be doing the texture painting. So yeah, I'm gonna call it here because I did get a late start. For any of you guys that did watch the Gamescom NVIDIA presentation, I'm curious to see if you guys are gonna buy new video cards. Let me know in the comments below if you're gonna buy a new GPU or in which one you're gonna get. I'm a little disappointed with how expensive they are, but we'll see. Let me save this guy. Let's see. Need to add a new folder. We'll call this wood pillar. Wood pillar. Wood pillar, and then I'll save that guy. All right. All right, gang. Sorry to cut it short, but I got to get ready for work, unfortunately. I will be back on Wednesday, and I'll be doing the sculpting in ZBrush. So stay tuned for that. And remember to like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And you'll get notified when I go live on Wednesday. I should be online between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. That's generally when I try to get on. Like I said, I was a little late today because I was watching that presentation. But thanks for tuning in. I'll be back on Wednesday. And you guys have a great day. Right on. Peace.